My name is Seth Lester. I have a blog that I never update called AmericanoToGo.com. The premise of the blog is based around a writing project that I wanted to do in the closeout of year 2008, and I decided that it'd be really fun to travel from city to city, increasing my coffee knowledge and learning about different cities and learning about America's relationship with coffee if I traveled from one city to another, working in a coffee shop in each city for an extended period of time. And I threw a giant map down on my coffee table back when I had a house, a real house, things in it, and circled all these wonderful places that I wanted to visit in the United States, like Toledo and Wichita, and is that even how you say it? I took the 17 cities that I thought were most important to coffee and most interesting, put them down on a list, and said, okay, well, I'll do those. And so Chicago is city number 7 out of 17.
You have 10 more to go.
10 more to go.
In 2 years.
In 2 years. So just like how some people set out to finish college in 4 years and it actually takes 5, I think that's more likely what's going to happen here. When I first started the project, I had my car. It was a Honda Civic. It wasn't very big. Loaded up with like 2 months worth of clothing, shit, books, a rice cooker, just in case. You never know, right? When you need rice. All kinds of sleeping supplies, tents, tools, lots of tools. Sort of just everything you need. And let's see, around Richmond. It was Richmond.
What city was that?
Number 3.
City number 3.
City number 3. I thought to myself, hey, you know, my next 4 cities, right? Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, New York, Chicago, probably going to be really hard to have a car. You know, actually for the next year and a half to 2 years, I really won't need a car. I'll be in these large cities. So I'm going to get rid of the car. I'm just going to get rid of the car. And all this stuff in the car, you know, it's nice to have, but I don't need it. I first had a big backpack from when I backpacked the Appalachian Trail as a teenager. And that looks really goofy, especially in Washington, D.C. It's a really professional city. So when there's a guy not wearing a necktie and wearing a giant backpack on the metro during rush hour, everybody kind of looks at you funny. That kind of shit flies in New York, but not in D.C., I think. But so then I got a couple of suitcases. Thought that would be cool. I had some vintage retro hard suitcases. This sucked even worse. And now I've settled with, you know, a big, I'm going to Italy for a month style rolly suitcase, and that's what I use now. I went to school for computer science and philosophy. I hate coding. I hate it so much. And philosophy is really not useful for much except teaching or maybe grad school. What had ended up happening was that I was bartending, and which was lovely. Had a lovely time, ample money, and a really fun job. Very nice way to meet people, and kept me on my toes, but at the end of the day, I wanted a little more exploration. I wanted to travel. I wanted to see things. So I decided that I was going to do this project. And I thought long and hard too about I could go from city to city working in bars, be just as fulfilling and knowledgeable, or not as knowledge gaining as going from coffee shop to coffee shop, going bar to bar. But I decided that my meaningful interactions with people would be more likely to happen in a coffee shop. Even though today's coffee house may not be the coffee house of the 1700s where revolutions brewed and madmen schemed, it's still kind of like that. Somebody once told me, and I can't remember who, I always can't remember who this is, but I like this example. When you see a coffee shop filled with a bunch of people on their laptops, there's still drinking coffee and heavily engaged in the sharing of ideas and information. They're just doing it in the 21st century way.